All right. Hey, everyone. Mark here. Mark P Markets. Thank you for joining me for another Bitcoin day trade setups analysis session. Okay. Just after the US stock market open. I want to thank you all for joining me. I'm sorry I'm running a little bit behind. I should probably change my time to more of this time. It's not easy to get this thing set up on time every day. Anyway, okay. I want to appreciate you. Thank you all for joining me. All right. So let's get this thing started right away. All right, let's not waste any time and let's get right into this. So this is for educational purposes only. For investment advice, please consult a licensed investment advisor. All right, cool. I'll just say hello to a few people. We got Steen, we got Joel. Hey, good to see you. Bill, Levant. All right, Han, good to see you all. All right, Armin, all the regulars. All right, cool. So as you know, what we're going to be doing first is we're going to be looking at Bitcoin from the day trade time frame. Now, I do not recommend this for beginners. I keep saying that. I want to remind that of everyone every day. Day trade, putting on day trades is the worst possible way you can start out in this business. Okay. Now, while we're waiting for something to develop on that time frame after we formulate our game plan, we will take a look at the bigger picture. All right. And we will see what's going on with some of the major markets that I like to track and stuff like that. And we'll also maybe look at some of the trades, like the euro that I have in play right now. Okay. So also, just a couple of things. Again, if you're looking for a Forex broker, there's a link in the description. Check out 8Cap Partners. They're based in Australia and they can, they're decent. I mean, a couple of people here are using them, right, Han? Hopefully you can give us some good testimonials on that. But anyway, so check them out if you're looking for someone. They're at least regulated and they are reliable. Okay. Second, if you're interested in my training program, go to markpmarkets.com. All the information that I show you here on these streams, basically the foundation of that comes from my training program. Okay. My training program is made for swing traders and the swing trade mentality. That is a more appropriate place to start as a beginner. Okay, sure, you can learn all the elements that I teach in my program for free if you just scour the internet, but I'm telling you right now, you're going to get stuck in a ball of confusion, all right, with all the nonsense going on out there. My program gets right to the point and focuses on only the most important information that you need to really concern yourself with, okay? And then you want to, over time, you want to learn some other things, great. There's nothing wrong with educating yourself, but most stuff that you come across as a retail trader in this business is worthless. Just letting you know. Okay. Also, if you're not in my Discord community, go to the link in the description. There's an invite there. Join my community. There's a free area and there's a lot of valuable information, especially for a beginner. You can thank Bill for putting a lot of that stuff in the learning resources channel. All this academic stuff, you need to have a good grasp on that if you think you're going to get anywhere in this game. And it's still, even having a good grasp of that, still it's going to take some time. The academic foundation helps you see through the nonsense. And there is a lot of nonsense out there. All right. So just wanted to run through that real quick. So let's start talking about some charts. Now, one thing, I want to mention something. I watched a video yesterday because I watch, I always like to keep track of certain fake gurus. And boy, this guy's a fake. All right, I'm not going to give any names out here, but the thing is, the argument that he was making was that this was basically a game of skill. Okay, and I see this a lot. This idea, if you just Google anything, right, anything about Forex trades or Bitcoin trades or anything like that, everything that comes up implies that this is a game of skill. And let me just say this, because, and I believed that lie. It's a lie. I've believed that lie for 15 years. Okay. And let me tell you where it leads. It leads to nowhere. Okay. Now, if this was a game of skill, like everyone likes to think that it is, then over time, there should be some sort of reasonable period of time where you can say, yeah, you can expect to make money after this much time when you're learning your skill, right? That's not the case for this game. You can spend 10 years in this game. I've accumulated all kinds of knowledge and experience in a 10-year period, and I was not able to make money consistently. That is not a game of skill, okay? A skill, what is a skill? A skill is some knowledge that you learn, right? And over some expected period of time, you can turn that knowledge into some sort of cash flow, right? Or some sort of income stream, right? Like whether you go to tech school and you learn to become a mechanic, right? You graduate, you have some knowledge, you can now get employment at a whatever, a service place, whatever, and you start fixing cars, right? And you start getting paid. You're not making a lot of money, but you're getting paid some kind of basic salary for the skills that you've learned, right? That's a skill. What about something like even look like YouTubers, okay? There's statistics out there. I know I'm going off on a rant, but Bitcoin's not doing a whole lot right now. And this is important for you to understand if you think you're going to get somewhere in this game. YouTubers, there's data out there that basically says that if you game and you follow certain things and you build certain skills in a 2-year period, you can actually replace a regular job salary. Okay, there's statistics that support that. That is a skill. You learn YouTube, you learn how to produce videos, you learn all these techniques and things, and you have this knowledge, and then you have subject matter that you present, all this, whatever. And over a 2-year period, if you do certain things, you are likely to produce an income from YouTube. That is a skill. Okay, so you could say, well, 2 years, that's the expected time. Okay, great. In this game, in the game of trades, there's no such thing. This is a game of chance. It's not a game of skill. No matter how good you are, it doesn't matter how much experience I have. Most of the, especially day trades, most of these trades that I put on have like a 50-50 probability, okay, which is random. It doesn't matter how much knowledge I have. You understand? That's why when people say, "Well, how about the RSI?" It doesn't matter. This is, you flip a coin, okay? If I had known that when I started this game, I probably would be much further ahead than I am now. It took me a very long time to be able to extract consistent profits from the market, both as a day trader and as a swing trader. And it's a very hard way to make money. Okay, so it's possible, but I need to put that out there because again, when I saw this video, I was like, I wanted to reach out to the guy and be like, stop lying to your people. Stop lying. Because what he's doing is he's encouraging them and they think, oh yeah, I just have to learn a few things. And of course, he's got stuff to sell. So yeah, buy my stuff. You're going to learn this, you're going to learn that. And you too will be able to make this much money. Stop lying to your people, man. But again, he's running a business. He's doing really well. And it's based on lies. So I just want to make you guys aware of that reality. Please, this is a game of chance. Okay? Not skill. So if you understand that, then you can focus your attention on the number of skills that can help you improve your chances. Okay? But there's no period of time. Oh, in 2 years, if you follow this, you're going to make this money. No. Okay? It doesn't matter. It's like kind of like in poker. You learn some skills in poker. All right? But the skills are really more on how to bluff and how to tell what other cards people may have, right? That's really like the skill in poker. Otherwise, you're subject to the outcome of the cards. So a guy that's been playing poker for 10 years can't just win every hand because he has so much experience. His outcome depends on the cards or how he can maybe fool people. But even if you're the best guy in the world, if someone has better cards than you and he's just randomly, I have 2 aces. I'm just going to go all in because I don't know what else to do. And it just goes his way. He beats the experienced guy. Okay. That's the way the cards come out. So anyway, all right. Enough of that rant. You guys, give me some feedback on that. What do you guys think? Have I put half of you to sleep? Or, do you feel that there's some sort of significance to that? Or do you just not care? Because, these rants, I don't say them because I feel like they make me feel good or anything. I say them because they're important points that I really want you to grasp because you guys are all serious. It's the same guys here that come to my stream all the time. And obviously you guys are serious. You want to be able to do this professionally. I'm telling you the thought process that you have to embrace. Okay. And it shouldn't have to take you with the knowledge I'm giving you. It shouldn't have to take you 15 years to get to that point. Okay. It took me 15 years. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous amount of time, and it's depressing. Okay, it shouldn't have to take you that long if someone at least tells you what works and what doesn't work. I was lied to for a very long time, and I believed those skills-based lies. Okay, so check out Coin Toss article. Oh, cool. Thanks, Bill. Right. Okay, cool. And thanks for sharing it. Again, Bill put a lot of stuff in that learning resources channel, a lot of stuff that beginners may not even be able to appreciate, okay, because they just don't have enough experience to understand the value of that stuff, and it's free. Okay, anyway, cool. So let's talk about Bitcoin, shall we? And let's get our day trade game plan going on here. There's not a whole lot going on. By the way, let me see, how did that trade work out yesterday? Was it a stop out? Let's see. Oh, no, look, I made some money. I bet you know what I did yesterday? I put remember the day trade I put on? I basically put my stop and I put my target, and then I went on to my other tasks. In fact, I had to go trade the S&Ps, right? So I turned this thing off and I went over to the S&Ps. And look, I actually have this started out at 20K, right? Because I reset the amount on this practice account, right? And look, I have $144 in there. So let's take a look. Let's just take a look at that history real quick, right? So I put the stop and the target, right? Bitcoin perp. It's this trade right here. See that trade? And let's see if can I see the orders on that? Because if you look at the account history. Okay, look. So the NASDAQ one doesn't count, right? That was wrong. So let's see. The NASDAQ one I made $50 on that. How can that be? Anyway, we're not going to count that because that was a mistake. Okay. So this one here, this trade, right, plus $84. Okay. And that was the result. So basically, if you left that day trade alone yesterday that we took, right, based on the stop and based on the target that I left you with before I signed off, it was a positive trade. Okay. So that's good. I'm gonna keep track of those trades on this practice account, right? When I take trade, I'm gonna put the stop, I'm gonna put the target, and even if I'm not able to watch the outcome with you, we can see the result. We can see the numbers, and that was what? That was like this move over here, wasn't it? Something like that. That was yesterday. Okay, I think it was that move. Anyway, RSI is somehow like Japanese housewives when they have. Okay, I'm not familiar with Japanese housewives. Oh, you're talking about because they all trade, and they all trade together. I don't know. Maybe that's what you mean. I know like housewives it's very popular in Japan. Meanwhile, not one of them follows me. I don't think I have one person from Japan following me. Maybe it's a time zone thing. All right. Anyway, so let's stop talking about other stuff here and let's talk about trades. I know I start these rants off and then we never get to trades. So look, here's the thing, right? I'm starting out with the 30-minute. You can see I leave all these lines on my chart, okay? And you can see how they're relevant going forward. Look where we are right now. Now, I want to, again, as a day trader, I'm trying to get a sense of context based on structure so that I can form a reasonable game plan, all right? I form some sort of, general expectations so that I can basically trade with some sort of situation where probabilities are slightly more stacked in my favor. Look at Bitcoin spiking right now. Okay, you see that? That's a short squeeze because obviously people were short at this resistance. And look, they're getting squeezed. I mean, that's when you get vertical. There's news coming out right now. That's probably what's going on. It's 10 o'clock. Typically, this is a news time. I don't know what news it is, but that's what this is. So we're going to let that do its thing. Okay. Now, again, like I was saying, I want to get a sense of structure. This structure right now is not bullish. Okay. This just looking back, look, we have a high, we have a lower high over here. Okay. General lower high. Don't focus on this information. This is useless. Focus on the more dramatic movements. So we have a lower high and then we have a potential lower high developing here, possibly. Okay. So that means, I should be looking for a bearish reaction off resistance levels. I should anticipate that resistance levels like that one should hold, okay? Which means I'm very interested in shorting, especially when it goes extreme like this, right? That's extreme. And it's extreme relative to these prices here, okay? It broke much further, so it's going to suck in a lot of longs who have no idea what they're doing, okay? It's going to suck in longs who watch their RSI and all that other nonsense that's going to mislead them, right? Because those are lagging. And we need to be ahead, right? So this is likely a failure area, and that's what I'm interested in. So with that being said, let's go to our 5-minute chart, and we're going to watch this here on the 5-minute chart. We may get the bearish pin bar. I'm going to short that if I get it, okay? This market is not in a bullish trend, for one, and we have an extreme resistance push here, and it's failing, okay? We have a lot of time. We have 4 minutes before this candle closes. So if we get that pin bar, I'm shorting it. Okay, like no question, because again, it aligns with the bigger picture. Now let's go to the perp chart for that. Hold on, let's go to the perp chart. So we're going to go to BTC perp. I mean, I got 4 minutes, so I'm not going to chase. There's no reason to react. There's no reason to get excited. I can put my plan together. So here's the Binance chart. Okay, the perpetual futures on Binance. You use whoever you use. Okay, so if you use someone else, that's whose chart you should use. In fact, I suggest using the TradingView platform to make your decision rather than the platform itself. These platforms, all of them, okay, I don't care who they are, they're ridiculous. The nonsense that they put on these platforms, the user experience is basically set up to make you trade. Please don't use that stuff. It's all useless. They all integrate TradingView charts, so you can use the TradingView chart from there, but maybe at some point I'll be using one of those platforms for examples, and you'll see how I use it. I will be only using it for order entry and nothing else. Okay. Those platforms are set up for you to generate fees so that they get rich, not you. Please always keep that in mind. They will never give you tools that provide real value. They will never do it because there's no incentive for them to give you. They don't care about your outcome. Number one, they want you to trade, okay? And if the tools had real value, they would charge you for them or something, okay? They wouldn't give them away for free. So, but they don't. And especially, I don't know if they take the other side of your trades. I don't know. You have to look at the fine print. Some of them may, right? I wouldn't be surprised. If the exchange acts as a market maker and they are on the other side of your exchange, of your trades, then they will definitely not give you anything that will give you an advantage, because why would they want to help you rob them? Okay, so please keep that in mind. I don't know for a fact, I don't know, but I suspect that they most likely are on the other side. I mean, they're probably very similar to a Forex dealer, but again, I don't know for sure. That's something I should look into. Anyway, so let's see how this thing closes, right? So we basically have our plan. I'm looking for shorts. I'm looking for shorts in this location. We know why. Look at the lines on this chart. This again, look how relevant they've been. Okay, let's just go. I want to put a line. I just want to draw a new line, right? And that line is just basically this old support. Okay, new resistance, and that's where we are now. Okay, so we get the rejection here. I want to short it. And so what's the risk? That should be really the bigger question here. What kind of risk are we looking at? The high here is what, 16,929. So we can round that to like maybe 16,940 or something. We'll put it up there somewhere. Okay. And the low of this candle, now this candle may not turn into an entry candle. It may not. We'll see. We have 1 minute before it closes. The low of this candle is 851. I'm sorry, 875. I'm seeing 875. Is that correct? Yeah, 875. That's this low over here, 875. Okay. So, I mean, I got to see how this candle closes. I don't know. It's an inside bar, right? That'll be an inside bar, like a doji type candle. So I think I'll give that short a chance if we take out that low. Okay, that 875 low. And we're looking at about 60 points of risk, something like that, maybe, which again, for a day trade, that's not bad. Okay, that's not bad. Now, if we get the inside bar break to the long side, do you think I'm going to take that? I'm not interested. Okay, not interested. There we go. Look, we're going for it. Not interested. Not in this location. No way. Okay, so that's how, for one, if that, I'm interested in a short. If that short is incorrect and the market just wants to continue higher like it's trying to do, guess what? I'm not in it. So I avoid the loss. Okay, that's a stop out that I avoid. So we'll see. Now we're going to watch this thing. I drew my line. This is where, this is the short entry right here. And I'm going to put a 60-point stop. So if we turn around and we touch that, I'll look to get in, or maybe we get another inside bar off this candle. Maybe we get a better price. Okay, we have 4 minutes before that one closes. All right, you see, so I have my plan. I'm not reacting to what I see. Do you notice? Right, that's a major thing. Okay, so we're going to watch that, and while we're watching that, we're going to check out our bigger picture here. Okay, so it's a nice looking move. Don't get sucked into it. Okay, now what does Avant say? Okay, I read that. Okay, cool. So now let's talk about the bigger picture here, and we're going to be monitoring this. Okay, so Bitcoin on the bigger picture, like I've been telling everyone, this is a bad area. This is a bad area to go long. It's a bad area to go short. Nothing has changed. So my plan for the swing trades has not changed. I don't care. I see people talking about that Bitcoin's in a bullish trend now and blah, 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 blah. This is a bullish structure. That's not a bullish trend, not on the bigger picture. The bigger picture tells us, again, for my students who have gone through my program, the bigger picture tells us that this is a consolidation. And anything inside this consolidation is meaningless. Okay, that's from the swing trade perspective. The day trade perspective is another story. But when it comes to the bigger picture, we're thinking in the swing trade perspective. So as of right now, there's nothing to do here. I warned people about shorting this. I said it's a bad place and you can get caught. If you see something, if this turns into an inside bar and takes out the high, the previous high, you have a buy signal, right? Not a good thing when you're short, because this thing can run to the low 18s. And that's where I'm looking to call the short. Right? And you say, well, why not buy some here and then sell it at the low 18s and you make 1,000 points? Because the probability, it may not reach up there. It may turn at any point. I'm not interested in taking that kind of risk. Okay, I'm watching this very carefully here. We have 3 minutes. Look at the bearish pin bar we're getting here. Okay, we'll see how that closes, but the buy signal may be even better. So I'm going to pull up my order ladder, right? And we're going to short 2 contracts. If that thing closes. Again, this is on paper, okay, just so you guys know, this is all on paper. I recommend doing this on paper and not using real money. All right, it's a learning exercise. Okay, so all right, so that's what's going on there. We'll see how that goes. Back to the bigger picture. So you guys get that with the bigger picture? All right, there's nothing to do here. There's nothing to do. If you're sucked into that, that's your problem. I can't help you with that. The structure here, while this is a bullish structure, if this thing fails anywhere in this area, that can establish a new lower high. And then this thing is likely to still test the 14K area. That's still within reason. Okay, it's not very probable at this moment, but it's still within reason. And that's what I suspect. In fact, that's an area I'm going to be referencing for my speculative portfolio. I'm coming up, and I mentioned this yesterday. I'm going to be talking about a speculative portfolio. I'm going to call it I'm going to be calling it the speculative growth portfolio, and it's going to be a high risk group of instruments, some altcoins and some stocks. High risk, high potential for the next year. Some of these investments, it's going to be from an investment perspective, and the fundamentals behind some of these things are going to play an important role. Okay, because that's really where I'm gauging the potential from. So it's going to be more fundamental, less technical. Also, the hold time for this is going to be probably a year or two, not a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Okay, make sure you understand that. I'm going to make a video actually explaining the general concepts behind the portfolio, but the details as far as what stocks, what altcoins, I'm going to highlight some of them during these streams. I'm not going to release all of them at the same time. I'm going to highlight some of them, but the actual entry or the portfolio allocations and the scheduling, I'm not going to release that at all here. That's going to be for members only. Okay, so most of you are members, so you guys will have access to that. I'm going to create a channel specifically for that information, and you guys will be able to access it there. Okay, So look, Bitcoin 890, is that right? Hold on, 16,899. That's our new point right there. See that? So now we can move our sell entry, or basically your sell stop. This line right here represents a sell stop, okay? To sell to enter. So we're still fooling around this resistance, okay? We have some selling activity here. Look at the pin bars, okay? So you don't short just because pin bars are there. You wait for confirmation. We have a setup candle. It's present. We have the pin bar. It's there, okay? Now we need to see if it becomes active. If we take out the highs of those pin bars, I do nothing. If we take out the low, I get short. So the plan is pretty clear, okay? So we made some adjustments there. And if this thing goes, I'm risking, 60 points, 50 points. I need to make at least that to justify the risk, okay? So we'll see how it goes from there. This trade may be in play very soon. All right, so that's Bitcoin on the bigger picture and the smaller picture. You guys have any questions about that? Let me know. I'm going to try to keep this. I'm not, obviously, Bill, I'm going to go over 30 minutes because I haven't even touched any of these bigger picture stocks here, bigger picture things. Let's go to this bond market, okay? Check the bond market every day. What's going on here in the bond market? What a surprise. Time for my Jerry Seinfeld impression. Why are the bonds selling off? So, look. I've been talking about it. I don't have to repeat myself over and over every day. It's the same story. We're just fooling around in a resistance, right? We try to break higher and then we kind of give it back. This is overlap. We have price overlap all over the place. The bonds are going nowhere. That's what that tells me. All right. We're still sort of like in this holiday mode nonsense. The bonds keep trying to push on whatever nonsense data is pushing them. I don't know what's pushing them, but this is nothing to be impressed with, okay? I was talking about now is a good time to start researching and start selecting your investment choices for the next year, right? And that's the whole idea behind my portfolio plan that I'm going to be sharing with members. Part of that comes from the bonds may be giving us a very early signal, but as I mentioned, it's a time to research, not take positions. You don't see me say, oh, I'm buying this, I'm buying that, I'm buying this. I'm not buying anything. I'm just doing the homework. That's all I'm doing. I suspect over the next year or maybe over the next 6 months that the bonds may deliver a higher low or maybe a double bottom, and they may show some stability, especially if the Federal Reserve starts to lay off their agenda a little bit. We have to see. I'm just guessing. But if I start to see that, then at least I will be in position with my ideas, right? And I'll be prepared and I'll be accumulating because I'm going to start accumulating early, knowingly a little early, but small. And I'm going to have very specific choices. I'm not just going to randomly pick, oh, this and that and this and that. Oh, I read this and this sounds good. It's going to be very organized, okay? And very controlled in terms of risk. So anyway, so the bond market, right? That brings me back to the bond market here. Bond market's not doing anything impressive. If we fail here, which is likely, we take out this inside bar low, we have a new sell signal at that point in the bonds, right? And perhaps we sell off a bit if the bonds work their way back to the midpoint of the range, which again can take weeks. If we see that, that means rates are still rising, but rates aren't making new highs at that point. Maybe rates are stabilizing, right? Maybe that's what's going on. That's what we need to see, okay? Anyway, so we'll let that play out. All I know is there's nothing spectacular here. There's no reason to believe that the market is going to rally or do anything magical anytime soon. That's the bond market. Let's take a quick look here. I'm jumping right to the euro, okay? Because I have a trade here, and Steve may have to get out of this. Like yesterday's close, I saw it, and I was like, all right, we have a little bit of a tail on it. I'll give that a chance and see, right? And look where we're back, 105.36. I mean, this thing sucks. This thing just doesn't want to turn, right? So I'm not going to fight it. I may just exit. We'll see how this closes today. I may just send out an order just to get out and take the loss, right? We're short from 104.70. Right. So if I could take less than 100 pip loss, okay, great. Okay, let's jump over to Bitcoin here. We have the candle close. We have a little mini bearish pin bar, right? Inside bar as well. What's the low on that? 907. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to use the previous candle's low. This is a very tight candle. So you go, oh, it's a better price. Yeah, but it's a very tight candle. The thing barely moved, right? So I'm not going to get caught up in that. I'm going to make the market work. What's this low here? So I'm going to use the 899 low. All right. So this thing pushes 899. That's when I'll take the short. I'm not going to use this pin bar. It's too small. All right. It's too small, and I don't like this price action. All right. So back to the euro. So like I was saying, I don't like this euro situation. All right. I don't like this short. This is a higher low, and it looks like it may be going for the higher high. And we're just fighting this thing. Okay. It's ridiculous, but it's possible that this thing could go to 107. It's possible. I mean, based on what we looked at on the bigger picture chart and where the dollar is, right? Let's take a look at the dollar, right? I mean, look at the dollar. The dollar hasn't made a new low yet, but it's poised to make that new low. And that's obviously what the euro is reacting to. We're still in a very heavy support area for the dollar, but that support is just not following through. So, I'm tired of taking these losses on the euro. So bang out of this one. If I bang out of this one, by the close of today, the Forex close, then that's it. I'm going to leave the euro alone until I get some real clear confirmation. I may have to get a worse price for that, but I'm tired. I want to mitigate the risk because I'm not going to take a 200 pip stop on the euro. Okay. So that's the euro situation. I know it sucks, but we're better off just taking the loss, the smaller loss, and getting out instead of watching this thing run to 108 and be like, this can't be. The market is what it is. Okay. All right. So that's the dollar and the euro. Let's jump over here to the NASDAQ and let's talk about this real quick. So look at the NASDAQ trying to be all bullish, right? We talked about this level yesterday. Okay, hold on. Back to Bitcoin. Let's jump back here. We're getting ready for that short. That short's coming. Right now we're at 899. Let's do it. Okay, so I got 2 contracts off at 60. What? I pressed the wrong thing again. Man, okay, hold on. 899. I was on the wrong chart. I shorted the wrong market. Let me go back and close that position again. That's this NSX short right here. I need to close that. Sorry about that. Okay, so we got this Bitcoin short. Okay. Now let's modify, right? And let's put the stop. We're going to put the stop at. We're going to put the stop. See, you can choose, a price. You could put how many ticks, right? All that, or how much money. So we're going to put the price, right? We're going to choose the price because that's what we want. So 16.9. I'm going to put 950. Okay. 16. Oh, that's the wrong number there. 16,950 is where the stop is going to go. So that's basically $100, right? That equates to $100 loss. You see that? It tells me right here. It's $100 loss. So that means I need to make at least that, right? So I'm going to put the take profit. Now I have 2 contracts so that I can demonstrate a runner if I have that opportunity, but I'm not going to have enough time for that today. So I'm just going to put everything off at one price. So the take profit target on that is going to be, we're going to have at least 50 points. Now, instead of putting in a price, I can just put in the amount right there. See? So I can just say, okay, you know what? 65 points. All right. So if that's the case, I'm sorry, that's the dollars. I'm sorry, that's the dollars. Let me change. So we're talking in dollars, right? So I'll say 150. Okay. So so I'm risking $100, right? And I'm hoping to make $150. I'm just putting that in there as just basically a random price. Okay. So I'm going to put that in there and that's it. So now we have that set up. Okay. So now I have my take profit 150 points lower. What price was that again? It should tell me here when I go to modify. Look, 824. Okay. My take profit is at 824. Right, and that will basically give me 1.5 to 1 reward risk. Now, I chose that. I wasn't, as you see here, I wasn't like all over the chart measuring things and whatever. I basically just went by the reward risk and say, I would like to make that. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get, I don't know if the market's going to go there for me. Where is 824 relative to this chart? That's 824 is basically at the bottom of this move. Okay, 824 is here. Can it reach that level intraday? It can. It certainly can. In fact, while we're watching, I'm going to be wrapping this up here in a moment. Let's jump over to this chart here, right? And let's go back to the NASDAQ. I know I got lines all over that chart. NSXUSD. Because the NASDAQ has been, look at this. Again, I always point out this correlation. Watch other fake gurus start copying me. Okay, watch. Anyway, so look at this, right? Does this not look the same intraday? If you're going to day trade, you should be watching the NASDAQ. Okay, you should be watching the NASDAQ and use it as a heads up. So look, we got the same kind of sell signal. In fact, the NASDAQ is not as clean, or actually the NASDAQ is less noisy. Look how noisy this was, right? The NASDAQ, same time frame, right? A lot less noise. Anyway, so the NASDAQ is going to have to give this whole move back, right, in order for us to reach that profit target. Now, the thing is this. Don't expect Bitcoin to reach that profit target, okay? Do not expect. What we're looking for is, you want to see how far it can go before it can give you a conflicting signal. If it just so happens to push this low, great. That's the market gave you a gift, okay? If it reaches 1-to-1 instead, which would be, I'm risking, 50 points to make 50 points, right? If it goes 50 points your way and it gives you a hard time, get out, take the money, okay? 1-to-1 is okay. It's not the best, but it's better than a loss, all right, if it gives you a hard time. Because again, this is the day trade time frame, and you have to pretty much take what you can get. Those days of, I'm just going to ride the trend and blah, blah, blah. We get those trend days on occasion, but they're rare. Okay, so you have to basically take what you can get. Like right now, look, this thing's giving me a hard time. We have 3 minutes before this thing closes. Okay, before this candle closes, we'll see. Does that candle close green, or does this thing basically start out green like it has and then turn red? What does the NASDAQ do, right? So we have to let the market answer those questions. All right, so you guys following me so far? Any questions? How have you been liking the day trade mindset exercises? That's what I'm going to call this. Day trade mindset exercises. Watch people copy. Watch them copy. Okay, they're not going to use the same exact words that I use, but just watch. Yeah, okay, because I got to wrap this up here in a minute. To really follow through and let the whole day trade play out, I'd have to stream for a couple of hours probably. I can't do that. Okay, I just don't have the time. So I have a lot of other stuff I have to take care of. So any questions, you guys? What do you guys think? You guys following me on this trade? Also, are there any other things you'd like to see on this stream? Because like what I'm going to do. Okay, cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare some information, okay? And then I'm going to start presenting some of the picks for my speculative portfolio. Because again, I've been researching, right? So I have a stock in mind. I'm going to just pull some information about it, because I definitely like the stock. It's definitely a stock that's going on my radar and it's a cheaper stock. I think it's like $10. It's a cheaper stock. There's a fundamental reason why I like this stock. It's a high risk, high potential stock. And we're going to talk about the stock. I'll spend like maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes talking about the stock, while we're still playing our day trade game here. And so you guys will have one stock to watch, but I'm not going to tell you where I'm getting in or how I'm getting in. I'm not going to explain all that. That's for members. So if you're a member, then you'll have access to all that. Okay. If you're not a member, well, at least I'll be giving you a hint as to what stock I'm looking at and some fundamental information about it. And then you're on your own with how you handle that. Okay. But for my members, like I said, I'm going to lay out a formal plan and explain exactly the allocation, the entry type, because I want to point something out real quick. There's 2 ways you can really build, or actually 3 ways you can build a portfolio. I'm not going to use options for this portfolio, but options you can use are a very nice tool to use. For those of you that are in the active investor chat with JP Trader, you know what I'm talking about. But we're going to talk about time entries, meaning I'm going to pick a certain time of the month, and location-based entries, particular prices, okay, playing the limit order game, something that I do not encourage for swing trades or day trades. But when it comes to investing, the limit order game, there's nothing wrong with it, okay, especially at particular prices. So those details That's what's going to go into the membership area. So you'll know exactly how I'm getting involved and at, at what allocation rate. Like for example, there's going to be 3 sections of the portfolio. I can tell you this right now. There's going to be 3 sections. There's going to be a ultra high risk section. There's going to be a high risk section, and then there's going to be a moderate risk section. Now, these sections or these segments are not going to have equal allocations, meaning I'm not going to be 33%, in ultra high risk assets of this portfolio. And 1/3 of the portfolio, ultra high risk, is ridiculous. It's irresponsible. If those stocks go to zero, which is very possible, you just wiped out 33% of your portfolio, right? That would not be right. So of course, I'm not going to allocate that big to the ultra high risk section. It's going to be smaller. Okay, so they're going to be skewed. The sections are going to be skewed, and they're going to be skewed more toward lower risk, meaning the lower risk assets are going to be taking up more of the portfolio. That's all I'm going to tell you. But I'm not going to, for those details, you're going to have to be a member. Okay. Anyway, this Bitcoin trade, look at this. It was working kind of there for a minute, and now it's not. So look, my stop is in place. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to exit this. I'm going to leave it alone. Okay. And if it goes to the stop, it goes to the stop. Look at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ gave a clear-cut buy signal. Okay. And look at this thing. It's just on its way here. And Bitcoin is following along. So I'm fighting the NASDAQ. Right, that's not good. This candle closes in 3 minutes. All right, well, here's what I'm going to have to do. Should I wait the 3 more minutes? Yeah, all right, I'll wait the 3 more minutes. Might as well. And then I'm going to turn this thing off. All right, so this may go straight to the stop, or maybe I have to blow it out. I definitely don't like the way that NASDAQ looks. All right, I'm gonna have to get rid of this thing. So here's what I do. All right, I'm just going to go here, and I'm going to close this thing right here, right, like this. So close position, and where am I closing it at? 950. So that's where I closed it. That was basically where my stop was anyway, wasn't it? Yeah. All right, so I took the loss on that one. All right, but again, here's the thing. I'm fighting this, okay? So I mean that was basically where I put the stop, and I lost 50 points, whatever, right? So it was $100 loss, whatever. That's what it should have equated to. I lose $100 in there. That's what it should have been. Let's take a look at the account history. Minus $30. All right, so that wasn't the full stop. I closed the short. This is just strange. Okay, so I had 145, went to 115. All right. So it wasn't the full stop. I thought I had the full stop set up on there. Anyway, I'm not going to mess with that right now. So I took a smaller loss, but you're better off just taking loss. Even if that was the stop, you're better off just taking the loss. Just take the loss. This is not what this thing should look like, okay? It completely conflicted. I mean, this thing never even gave us a chance to really, never even got to the midpoint. On top of that, I'm fighting a strong NASDAQ right now. All right, maybe the NASDAQ fails and turns, and maybe we get another sell signal. Keep in mind, this is not a buy signal, right? I mean, you can argue that this candle before it is sort of like an inside bar, and you could, argue a long here. But the thing is, and you can say, oh, higher low. This thing should make a higher high. It might, but again, don't lose sight that this area is a significant resistance area. So failure here is very likely. So as a day trader, if I was going to spend the time here today, I would be looking for the next short signal, and I would short it again, as long as that short signal developed in this area. If the market goes nuts for whatever reason, and it starts going all the way up here, then I'm not going to short it. Okay? At that point, we're beyond the resistance, and then I should reevaluate and start considering pullbacks for longs. That's when I change my mind. Okay, so I don't want to fight the market, but at the same time, I do want to recognize that there is a resistance here and that there's a high probability that this thing still fails, even though it's showing the opposite of that right now. Don't get fooled by the opposite of that. Pay attention to the location. Okay, all right, so I'm going to leave you guys with that. What is a member? Active investor? Yeah, Gregory. Oh, yeah, you're a member. Yeah, you're in. Don't worry. So sorry I wasn't clear on that. But yeah, anyone that has an active investor, if you're a paying member, whether you're a learner or an active investor, you'll have access to the information. Okay. It's the free people who won't. That's why I'm trying to let them know, because people want everything for free. So it's the free people. I give enough stuff away for free. All right. Anyway, so thank you for asking that question and making that clear. All right, cool. So you guys, I got to wrap this up again. 15 minutes over, Bill. I know. And that cell signal looks like it's going to develop again, but we have 5 minutes, but I got to sign off. So, hey, everyone, again, thank you for joining me for this session. I hope you learned something here and I hope you got some value out of this. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Join the Discord community. You can always send me a private message there. And please be careful of scams. I'm working on a way to, fix that situation, but there is a fake me running around, and I would not message you and start up a conversation and ask you for money. I would not do that. I always ask people to message me first. So you message the right me. Okay. Okay, you guys, that was your 15-minute rant. I know, but I can't help it, Joel. These rants, they just come out. All right. So anyway, everyone, enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your evening, wherever you are in the world. And thank you very much for watching.